HarperCollins presents The Pleasure Principle, Epicureanism, A Philosophy for Modern Living, by Catherine Wilson. Read by Billie Fulford-Brown. Preface. Philosophy wears garments of many colours and textures. It can stitch together intricate analysis or pretentious bafflegab, deep insight or pseudo-profundity, impartial advice or personal prejudice. It shows up in flashy or drab form, not only in the lecture rooms of universities, but in the New Age section of your local bookshop, shelved next to books about ESP and meditation. Regardless of its patchwork character, philosophy asks you to try to think for yourself, logically and coherently, to create order from chaos. You use ideas and frameworks developed by others, especially the great philosophers of the past, as scaffolding. But ultimately, you make and use your own system of the world in deciding what to believe, what to do, and what to hope for. My aim in this book is to build you a piece of scaffolding by introducing you to what, to me, is the most interesting and relevant of the ancient philosophical systems, Epicureanism, a theory of everything originating in the observations and ideas of the 3rd century BCE Athenian philosopher Epicurus, and set into Latin verse by his 1st century BCE Roman follower, Titus Carus Lucretius. Although the world has changed since Epicurus wrote and lectured, the issues of money, love, family, and politics that he dealt with remain with us in new forms. The Epicurean perspective remains, to my mind, relevant and valuable. Epicureanism was one of the 5 major schools of ancient Greek and Roman philosophy, existing alongside and competing for adherence with Platonism, Stoicism, Skepticism, and Aristotelianism. Unlike the city-based Platonists and Stoics, Epicurus had decided to live apart with his followers. His philosophical school was set in a garden, actually a grove, usually considered to have been located outside the city walls, where philosophy was discussed, meals were taken together, and books and letters were written. Most of Epicurus's original writings were lost. The largest known collection of his and his followers' writings, located in the town of Herculaneum near Naples, was buried in the ash and lava of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 CE. But Lucretius had seen and made use of them more than a century earlier, and several of Epicurus's philosophical letters and collections of sayings, as well as the reports of ancient commentators, survived. Marcus Tullius Cicero, Lucretius's Roman contemporary, took an interest in Epicureanism, though he criticized it heavily. His dialogues on religion and moral philosophy show how Epicureanism stacked up against its rival, Stoicism, at least from Cicero's point of view. Largely but not wholly lost to medieval and Renaissance readers, Epicurean philosophy was revived in the 17th century, when it exercised a significant influence on moral and political philosophy, as well as on cosmology, chemistry, and physics. The great utilitarian social reformers of 19th century Britain, as well as the framers of the United States Constitution, paid homage to the Epicurean ideal of human welfare. And Lucretius's Epicurean poem, On the Nature of Things, at first admired mainly for its elegant Latin, came to be considered a model for the vivid and memorable communication of abstract scientific ideas. At the same time, as you will see in what follows, Epicureanism had certain features that shocked, or at least unsettled, many who encountered it. Before I start, more about me. As a lecturer, I have taught philosophy in the US, Britain, Canada, and Germany. As a researcher, I have worked in archives and libraries, published books and articles, and engaged in controversies with other academics. Many of my writings focus on the physical and life sciences of the 17th and 18th centuries, and especially on the concept of the microworld of subvisible organisms and material particles. But all along, thanks to early exposure as a teenager through volunteer activities and work camps, I have been interested in the problems of warfare, poverty, and social justice. Both sets of interests are reflected in this book, which is addressed to some of the problems of modernity, both theoretical and practical, as they face us in contemporary life. Like most readers, I am concerned about the array of political and economic problems affecting us and our children, and causing us anxiety, even when we live in conditions of affluence. There is increasing economic inequality, fostering resentment and violence, the corruption of democratic
Sample complete. Ready to continue?